G'day walkers, welcome to the content creator commentary for a walk around the Melbourne General Cemetary. This is the third commentary I've recorded in the last 3 to 4 hours. Not that that really probably matters to you, but while I'm on a roll, I figured keep going, especially because while it's fresh in my head, I'm going to use this commentary to flag that there's changes coming to the videos for this channel.
Welcome to This Walking Life.
And this video is basically a work in progress. So tomorrow I'll be buying a DJI Pocket Osmo Pocket camera, because as I explained in the commentary for the Laneways video, what I've come to realize is that the Sony ZV-1 vlogging camera is probably not the ideal unit for walking videos. Now this particular video was recorded on the 30th of I'll just double check, the 30th of April. So this video is about maybe I've had about 2 to 3 weeks practice with the Sony up until this stage, and despite the fact that the reason I upgraded to the Sony from the Olympus handheld pocket point and shoot digital was to try and achieve better quality footage that was more stable, and then I had to go out and lash out on a Sony shooting grip accessory, but it's just not cutting the mustard. Basically the footage is the key. And this is the first time I've seen this footage, like watching it end to end, and I can see it's far more stable at the moment and more horizontal, consistently horizontal than say the Anzac Day video, which I commented on this morning, and the Laneways video, which I threw the camera around a little bit more. I wasn't too worried. But this video, I can see already it's more so, but it really is, it's just not cutting the mustard. Now, I've already explained in other videos, I'll repeat myself here because I know for a fact people aren't watching or listening to these commentaries. I really record these commentaries for my own benefit, but I lost my train of thought. I hate that. Anyway, I've lost my train of thought. But look, I can a lot of it's to do. Oh, that's right, gimbal. I've already said this in other commentary, but there's no point getting a gimbal for the Sony ZV-1 because I've priced them, I've looked at them. I haven't actually handled one or had somebody show it to me in a retail outlet, but like I can see it's far too big, and for a walking video and for somebody that doesn't have a car and uses public transport, the idea of hoiking around equipment or even putting it into a backpack, a day pack, is just, there's no way known. So this video commentary is really to flag that there's going to be two major changes to this channel. The third change being is that these videos will not stop, because I know that there's an audience for them, and unfortunately I've caught my reflection there. Oh, look at the hat. I know there's an audience, and I'm no less convinced after 10 months, 23 subscribers, 80 hours of watch time, which, for the time and effort put into filming these videos, editing them, publishing them, nursing them. It's not much a return, is it? But I know there's an audience. I don't deliberately look for walking video channels anymore because I'm not really researching them or seeing if there's a market. I know there's a market, but the odd new channel pops up in my on my screen, whether I like it or not, and I know that there's a market for these things. It's no secret that it takes a while for channels to get traction. But I did see one channel this morning, which I'd never seen before, somebody walking around Belfast who's only recorded and published about maybe less than 8 to 11 videos over the course of 9 to 11 months. Now his first video, and they're all about 30 to 50 minutes long, his first video ever that he published, a walking video, has 771 views, and his second video, 16,000 views. So, so it's just I'm a little bit speechless, and I'm also a little bit, well, why not me? So I'm studying his footage, and I can see vast differences in the footage, but especially I'm taking note of, well, what camera has he got? So I'd already decided to get the DJI Osmo Pocket yesterday. I've decided yesterday, after a tiny bit of humming and haaing, not much, but just enough up to my usual. I am a bit of a humming and a haarer. But I'd already decided that that's what I'm going to do, that I can manipulate my bank balance. It seems pretty affordable, but it seems to me that that it's just got to be done. That the key thing is, it seems to be the one thing lacking, or the difference between the footage that I'm looking at right now, and there's nothing wrong with it, but compared to a walking video channel with content of footage that does not shake, glides, does not it's just smooth. It just seems to me that the Sony was nothing wrong with the choice. There's nothing wrong with the product. I love the audio on it. It's fairly compact, but yeah, I've just I hate that I haven't achieved what I set out to do yet. So so that's the first two things I want to say, that this channel is not going anywhere, number one, and number two, so that the camera, this will be one of the last videos published. I think I've still got quite a bit in the bank, actually. Probably shouldn't say that, but it's not that I'm going to not publish the Sony footage, but so the third change I want to flag for anyone who's listening, not that I expect you to care very much, is that the other thing I've decided to do is that the content for this channel is going to change noticeably. So it's going to evolve a little bit past this one. So I'm going to experiment for a while where I just publish the walking video content with no music, no introduction, no clips, no 2.5 second clips running for 40 seconds and then giving a taste of what's to come. I've tried that. I've had no. I don't get this. This channel gets 0.005% comments out of all the videos that are published. It hardly gets any likes or dislikes. So I actually don't know what you, the audience, want. I don't study the analytics. I don't look at watch time. I don't look where people dip in and out, because to me, you know, there's no patterns. I can't pick any patterns of viewership or whatever. So I know people are skipping ahead. I don't actually know if people watch them from start to finish on other channels. Like, who knows? I don't know, because I know for sure that a view that registers on someone else's channel, that doesn't mean somebody's watched the whole video from start to finish. The thing that's not going to change is I'm going to keep publishing videos of, you know, whatever length. I'm not going to suddenly start publishing, you know, endless videos that are only 10 minutes long or 20 minutes long. They're going to be whatever length they tell me to be, because I've gone out and filmed it, so I'm not really interested in, you know, being too sort of hard and fast with timing or whatever. People, you know, people will choose what to watch regardless of what I publish. Like, I might publish something that's only 5 minutes long and they'll watch 30 seconds. Or so the reason I want to publish, you know, hour-long, 2-hour videos is because the more you watch, the more people watch. It's the better off it is for me. If they watch an hour of a 2-hour video, that's it. So here's me experimenting. We're just experimenting with, you know, as I was saying, I don't know what you people want to watch. So, like, why not bend down and have the video, you know, have the camera close to the ground? Like, why not? So that's, you know, I'm not afraid to change it up, basically. So there's changes ahead. So you probably won't notice this. This probably won't start flowing through to published content. Maybe October. It depends. Anyway, so the way the videos are going to be published is that it'll just be a simple, plain, vanilla video, vanilla footage. No, you know, minimal titles, no music, no introduction. Or maybe I'm tossing up, like, it's hard to let go of some of the things that I've developed. Like, I might still create an intro, but put it right at the end of the video. I'm still a little bit undecided with that. So I'm going to possibly change the titles and the color of the titles. You know, make them really minimal, things like that. And I'm going to continue with these commentaries, and the commentaries will have the bells and whistles. The commentaries will have the sizzle reels and the intros and maybe music. Like, maybe I'll change it up, because maybe by having such two divergent or extremely different types of video content in the one channel, maybe then I'll start to see patterns, or maybe then something will start to click. I don't know, but yeah, I've definitely taken the foot off the gas for the last couple of months. I found that the lack of traction in the analytics really did start to become, you know, too much to ignore. So I just naturally took some time away. I've been trying to push myself to do this content 5 to 6.5 days a week since last September. So I suppose that's actually 12 months. It was the 1st of October last year when I published the first video I recorded, a test one. I'm not going to stop, because I still believe that the strategies I've been aiming for, I still think they're valid. I still think that walking videos which target, you know, Melbourne's character, which is sport, events, arts, culture, laneways, street art, as opposed to just walking down a street with a camera and filming what's in front of it, if there's some context and strategy around why you filming this stuff in the first place, that's what I'm going for. And I think, now there's a bit of shaking there. We're just up to the church, and I can see a lot of shaking. I'm still experimenting with the Sony has this defocus feature where it'll focus on the background or the foreground depending on which button you push, and I like that actually. But I'm a point and shoot kind of guy. I'm not a tech person, or I think I know how to frame a shot. But I was just soaking up the experimental opportunity in front of me. Again, on this particular shoot day down at the Melbourne General Cemetary. So we've still got about half an hour to go with this commentary. They're the main three things I wanted to cover. But so I'll just point out something else which may or may not be of interest. But I've edited this video in a way that it's not published and edited from start to finish. I've taken a start point at the Greek Cypriot. I'm pretty sure it's the Greek Cypriot chapel on the western side of the cemetery fence. And I just thought instead of starting the video, in the most obvious place, which is outside the gates, I thought it'd be more interesting to start in the middle of the cemetery and loop back to the front. And I started the video on that day when I was filming. I actually started filming at not the crypt, the cremations wall, which is not the appropriate term. I won't look it up. But you know what I mean, when people get cremated and their ashes are basically buried in a wall. And that's a new feature at the Melbourne General Cemetery. It's funny how this cemetery is not Melbourne's first cemetery. It's actually the second cemetery. Melbourne's first cemetery was actually established closer to the CBD on the edge of the Flagstaff Gardens, where the Queen Victoria Market is. So when the government of the day decided to create the Queen Victoria Market, they had to dig everyone up and transfer all the remains from the site at the Queen Victoria and bring them up here to the new cemetery, which is so much larger, and just at the edge of Melbourne University, the northern edge of Melbourne University. So I just thought it'd be interesting. I think because I spent a bit of time faffing around filming those cremated sites in those walls, and one thing I think one thing that I've learned is that and I'm not sure. I mean, this is just me just guessing, to be honest, but it seems to be that people don't really stick around if an intro isn't going straight into a walk. Now, I've got no idea if that's true or not, because from my analytics, especially the last few months, like I know for a fact people are watching the first 20 to 35, sometimes 40 seconds of a video, and then they're just dropping out. I know that people are staying to watch the first 30 to 40 seconds, which apparently is the most important, but I'm just not getting traction where they're staying. So we're into the last 25 minutes still. It was a really warm day this day, actually. The weather was fantastic. You can see there's still a bit of bobbing around. I decided what I wanted to do was the Melbourne Cemetery is fantastic in that, it's just a treasure trove of visual gems as far as the camera goes. And you can see, this is a good example, this spot where the cemetery is trying to make every single bit of space pay for itself. So you can see that they've created some extra, see on the right here, behind these headstones, that would have been lawn. And you can see that they've created extra burial space in what probably used to be lawn, where you can see the headstones are so much wider than a normal headstone, and people are sort of buried, horizontal, parallel to the road, as opposed to lengthways, which is, it's just trying to squeeze blood out of a stone, isn't it? Like squeeze every dollar out of every available space. It's the same at Box Hill Cemetery. They've started marketing what used to be just normal lawn area next to the driveway. So you're going to be they're trying to sell space right next to where cars are driving past all the time. People are walking past on the western edge of Box Hill Cemetery. They've dug up garden space near the gate, near the entrance there, in the western entrance gate, turning that into graves. I noticed the same thing on this particular day, actually. That was a project day where in the afternoon I was filming at the Melbourne General Cemetery, and in the morning I took the train down to Cheltenham and I filmed the Cheltenham Pioneer Cemetery. And it was the second time I'd done that, because I went down to Cheltenham one day with the Olympus digital camera, and then when I got the Sony, I went back with the Sony and did it again, because I'd never been to Cheltenham before, and I ended up I was going to walk from the western side of the cemetery through to the entrance on the eastern, and I didn't do my homework, and I found myself walking all the way around the cemetery and finding the golf course. I didn't know that it was bordering a golf course, and then I found that there was no gate, and I had to walk all the way around again. That was the first time I went there, so that was a bit sad. A lot of this, you see, I'm putting the camera right up in the face of all the statues. I'm just trying to make it interesting to look at, and maybe I might accidentally get a thumbnail, a decent thumbnail, because maybe this is another reason why I'm not getting traction with statistics, is because I never take a photo while I'm filming specifically for a thumbnail. What I do is I don't like to interrupt filming. I just like to be in the moment, and it's also easier for editing, because I've already found that the more smaller, if you have tons of small little files of 2 to 5 minute clips, it's annoying to organize, and it's far easier to edit if you've got one long chunk of footage. So that's another reason. But so what I normally do to create a thumbnail is I take a snapshot in the editing software, the Filmora, and just use that, and do one in Canva and download a PNG file. So that's where we're heading. So there's they're not the significant changes that are going to make there's caught my reflection again. I always go to great lengths to avoid my reflection, but that's twice in this video I've filmed myself accidentally. So I found that, I mean, the Melbourne General Cemetery is so big. I really wasn't too concerned about the length of the video. This one ended up being, I think it's, I'll just double check actually. This video ended up being 45 minutes long, which is fine. But I'm, you know, I didn't need to film everything at once because I know I'll be going back. But I'm glad I got down there on this day because there's so much sun and there's so much contrast. Here we are going through the shadows. Now I really haven't spent much time at this cemetery because there's no reason to go there, but I do because of my mum's lifetime of work in genealogy. She found the grave for one of someone in her family that was buried there in the late 1800s, I think it was, and spent a fortune on his grave. He was a very, very rich commercial businessman, so I don't know why his genes didn't get passed down the line. He split up from his wife and left her and the kids, and he spent the rest of his days living in the Windsor Hotel in Spring Street. Now, if you know Melbourne, and if you're familiar with various landmarks, and you can look this up on Google anyway, and if you search a bit of the history of the Windsor Hotel, and there's some other famous names buried at Melbourne General Cemetery, and more about that later. If you Google the Windsor, you'll see that it's a pretty swish place, and even more so back in the days of George Coates. That's the ancestor, his name, and he lived there by himself. He rented a room and lived out his days in luxury there at the Windsor. He had a fortune, absolute fortune, when he died. So I don't know what went on with his, with his family there, because my understanding is he didn't really have anything to do with his wife, his ex-wife, or his kids. So, so here we are out on, what's the name of this road? Anyway, this road. We'll just call it this road. But we're coming up to Princes Park Drive. There you go. So I decided, so this was actually the end of the shoot, that I just walked out the main gates, and for I didn't really have any clue what I was going to do, but I wanted to have an interesting end to this particular video, and then I thought, I'll just catch the traffic. This is a really busy east-west route for traffic from the eastern suburbs to the western suburbs. To the right of camera is the Tullamarine Freeway and the Melbourne Airport. Straight in front of us goes straight through to North Melbourne, and if you follow those cars, that takes you eventually down to the eastern freeway to the eastern suburbs. But to the right of camera, if you travel south, that's the city. About a short walk or a short tram ride or a bus ride or whatever way you want to go. And I just decided to finish here. Obviously, the old gatekeepers' lodgings. So this sort of stuff is going to change. These titles. I like my branding. I really do like my branding, but I see on the other.
And this afternoon,
so what I did was when I finished, like that was literally the last shot, and I went back to film.
Make sure you subscribe to this channel.
The sign that sits outside. Now that's an edit. So what I did was I chopped.
Let's go.
I made a cut at the Burke and Wills sign. And for those paying attention, they will have seen that we've already seen the Burke and Wills sign somewhere. And so I filmed all this right at the start when I got there. So what I did was I've created a loop So we faff around here, and I decided that I didn't want to start the video with this footage because it's so ponderous, and that's another cut. Obviously you can tell, but this was all done at the same time. The reason the position has changed of the sun is because while I was filming that first bit, a car pulled up, came in the driveway, and then did a 180 and parked almost just out of sight around the corner on the right. And wouldn't you know it, a lady got out, and she had her old Italian mum, and I think that's their car there, the white one, might be. And they got out of the car, and they'd come to look at the crypt. I think that's the wrong word, but they came to this area, and obviously the dad was buried there. And the last thing I wanted to do was to intrude, because the Italians and the Greeks, it's you know for a fact that the Italians and the Greeks put a lot of time and energy into paying respects to family members that have passed, and the last thing I wanted to do was to be floating around with a camera filming and intruding on their that time. So yeah, notable interments, historic sites. So another reason, apart from coming to a cemetery to film, graves and gravestones and broken. So here we are, third time at Burke Mills. Is that oh no, hang on, there's going to be an edit here in a second. There we go. So that's a jump cut. So that's where the other bit of footage, the cut is. So I've gone jump back into here because I did this twice because of those grieving Italian people. So the other driving factor getting me down to the cemeteries is that this walking life is actually part of a brand I've created called This Life. This Life video series, and the other channel is This Genealogy Life. For my other project around public transport, it's called This Public Transport Life. I've got another channel which I haven't really been paying attention to, This Australian Open Life. So if you can see that there's method there and strategy. The genealogy one, I'm going to use the walking footage, but it's going to evolve into more of a true content creator channel. How much time and effort I put into it is yet to be seen, because to be honest, what I've seen from other channels is not walking video ones, but people who have successful channels, they have a passion for their topic of their videos, or their passion for their channel. And I can honestly sit here and say I have no passion for genealogy. I know there's an audience for it. I have a knowledge of it and a family, a history of family activity in it, but it was not my passion. It was someone else's, is all I'll say. But I know there's an audience for it. So this Genealogy Life will feature a showcase video, which is basically, this video will be the showcase. But there'll be, say, 5 episodes in a season where I use the same footage, but I'm doing a voiceover about, notable graves and notable historical figures buried in Melbourne General Cemetary. So say, not my ancestor. He wasn't notable outside his own lifetime. But say I think Burke and Wills are buried in Melbourne General Cemetery. All the early pioneers. So just a voiceover talking about who these people were. A really brief picture. And then the footage would be. The cemetery. So it's a stab in the dark, but I know for a fact that there's an audience, and you can see there's some lawn here. I was talking before about the cemetery trying to accommodate extra people and drive extra revenue. So maybe all this lawn will become graves one day. I wouldn't be surprised. This is in the early part of the shoot, but I've edited it so that you know, we start and finish this particular walk in the middle of the cemetery, which I think is a bit more interesting than just starting and finishing at the gates. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? So yeah, the reason my plan was to just walk straight down the driveway, but once I was on the road, there was a hearse went by, another car went by, some people came walking towards me. Up ahead, you can't see them yet, but you will. You might not see them because I try not to film people. You know, it's not fair. Oh, there's the hearse there. You can see the white car, whether it's a hearse or another one. So I just faffed around filming here, and then pretty soon the camera's going to come to a stop, and that's when I sat down to record an intro for this video and the genealogy channel. So the genealogy channel is, the tagline is bringing history to life. Bringing history to life, which I think is a pretty reasonable tagline, and it's also I'm gonna copycat the tagline for the genealogy TV series, Who Do You Think You Are? Mine's going to be, Who Do You Think They Were? Focusing on the not so well names as opposed to celebrities seemingly doing a lifetime of genealogy research in 50 minutes, whereas my mum spent 45 plus years dragging us around cemeteries from when we were about 7 years old. So that's the edit there. That's the edit there where I stopped to film the intro, and we start again. So we've got about another 10 minutes left, I think. 6 minutes. So the style of filming isn't going to change that much. I think it's really important to be yourself, and I'm not just saying this from the point of view of, you know, making a video for YouTube. Any endeavour that a person undertakes to create something, whether you're writing or acting or singing or playing guitar or any painting, anything a human being does to create something, you've got to be yourself. Like, there's no point trying to copy everyone else or be like everyone else. Like, you've got to accept that you're going to do things your own way, whether you want to or not, and you've got to stand by that voice that's inside your personality. And as much as I love the branding that I've created for all these videos so far, I like brands as a rule, actually. There goes the hearse. That's the reason I turned away to the west, because that hearse was coming, and I didn't think it'd be very polite to film a hearse, even if it was empty. And I've known. Oh, there you can see the people up ahead. So that's where the hearse came from. And once I saw them, I started making a beeline to get lost amongst the graves, which was probably not a bad thing as it turned out. Far more interesting. As opposed to being on the road, but I was determined to go up the road and not do too much chopping and changing in terms of direction, because you know, some channels, all they do is just walk in a straight line, and they never deviate horizontally or vertically, or they never change direction, whereas some of them do. So my instinct is to try and give some context to what's around the camera. But I try to move the camera in a gentle way, as opposed to flinging it from side to side. But yeah, so that brings me back to, you know, is the footage, is it detrimental to the viewer that there is no gimbal? Well, after well, it's 11 months. We've got to say 11 months now of creating videos for YouTube. Well, I suppose it is. These walking videos is people want to see footage that's absolutely still, absolutely stable. I did. I had some editing experience over the last few years for other video content. And I used to use Windows Movie Maker, and it had a sensational video footage stabilizing function. And as usual, all technology evolves, and when I upgraded my laptop last year, Windows Movie Maker is no longer available, which is a shit. Pardon my French. Which meant that I had to research and eventually settled upon Filmora 9, and yes, it has stabilization, but yeah, it just doesn't stack up. So I don't use a stabilization application in the edit and the post-production of these videos. And another reason is because I just want to get it done. Like it takes a long time to edit these videos, which is a bit annoying, because another driver behind the reason I decided to do walking video content is because I figured, well, how hard can it be to walk around the streets with a camera? You know, there's no script. You don't need a script. It doesn't really matter about the weather. Not too fussed about the audio. And then you just stitch it together in a editing software program. Well, you know, by the time you muck around with titles and music, and especially by the time it goes through the whole rendering on this laptop, which is just a it's 8 gig 512 RAM i7 processor. It's still pretty slow. So the next laptop will be 16 gig. But when that is, I don't know. I don't need the latest bells and whistles. So so this is where I was nearly going to finish initially, but then I realised, oh, that's right, because when I was walking past, someone was chanting inside. Now I couldn't work out whether it was somebody physically in there chanting at a service, and I was extremely reluctant to stick my head round the corner and find out, but I still don't know. But I figured this was a nice eerie way to begin and end the video with this chanting, and then I decided to stick the intro at the end. So the intro is an outro, and on that note I will close offo. You've been watching the content creators commentary for the walking video around the Melbourne General Cemetary in Melbourne, Australia. I'm the bloke who walks. It'd really be awesome if you could like the video. Subscribe would be even better, and we will see you and talk to you in the next video. Produced and distributed by Wise Words Media and Calumny Films. That's all. Bye for now.